Guys, I'm wearing shorts today. It is 109 degrees here in Texas, but I'm excited to be unveiling my complete room renovation. Stay tuned and I'll tell you what I did, why, and how it worked out. So guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm excited to unveil the room. I spent a lot of time and effort, probably about 5 days on this, and I want to show you how it was before, what I did, why, and what worked and what didn't. The problem that we run into is that here the floor plan is, this is kind of the entertainment room, the kitchen's over there, little dinette area over there. So I am about 22 feet wide and 33 feet long. So it's a big room. Originally, we had the couch there that is underneath the camera. I had my speakers set up here. The problem that I was running into is that A, they had to come out kind of far into the room. B, when I used the Jim Smith method of setting up the speakers, and I'll link to that video I did down below, which is key to getting good sound. Where the couch was is right in a null on the sound. So I either needed this at 3 feet forward, which would put me 5 feet from the speakers, or 3 feet back, which is in the kitchen. And I don't know why, but the wife had a problem with that. So I had to do something different. I decided, finally, I'm gonna try shifting it 90 degrees. And what we did is we moved the speakers from over here. The rack was originally there against that window, and I had the speakers coming along here. I shifted the rack against this window, moved the speakers here. This chair, where originally the chair was in this corner and I would simply slide it out and slide it back. I've got it on floor sliders. What I did is I've now got it against that wall so I can just slide it directly forward, and it's in the right spot in this room where it sounds best with the speakers. And I did, when you set up the room, I did not use any of my AGS diffusers. And what I was finding is that it had a weird hollow sound, almost like an echoey sound. And I'm sure it was the way it was reverberating in this room. So using the wife as the manual labor part and me sitting in the chair as the ear part, I had her moving it in and out and left and right. I couldn't get it right. So what I did is I brought in 2 of the AGS diffusers that I have and I put them right there in that spot. And I ended up finding that I needed to move them in a little bit. And it was amazing. It really cured that echo and that hollowness. It cleared it up easy and fast so that then I could fine tune where the speakers are. I'd say right now the speakers are about in the 95% spot. I still need to play with them a little bit, but I need to get my ear readjusted to it. I also had centered this chair. One thing that didn't work, I had centered this chair between the couch and this wall here. And what happened is that put the chair almost off the rug. So the speakers then would be on 2 different surfaces, and one would be up against there and one would be in the middle of the rug. So what I did is I used, in fact, let me get it. Here are some of the things that I used. I used my Hilti laser thing, and the reason why I have the blue tape on it is because the lasers go up and they kept beaming me in the eye, so I taped it so that the laser wouldn't go up, it would just stay down. And I have a picture, I'll put it up now, you can see where I put the laser. So what I did is I put a piece of tape, I found where the center of the rug was, I put a piece of tape in the middle of the rug there and here. I then ran that laser, and I'll put up a picture here, crossed so that it was straight this way, and then I had a line that was perfect this way, because the carpet's not cut perfectly straight, and you'd like to think it is, but it isn't. I have a little blue line there and a little blue tape line there. And that was my measuring point to make sure that the speakers were even, that they were equidistant going forward from that measured square line, center of the carpet. So I could put the chair in the center of the carpet and I could have the speakers at each extreme of the carpet. That made a big difference. I was able to fine tune it at that point. I use a couple of different types of tape. I use this one. I've got the thin, really thin one. These are the low tack ones, which is great. They go down, they come up really easily. The other thing I will tell you is sliders were a huge benefit. And I had these on sliders to find the rough 85% spot. There's two different types if you go on Amazon. There's the X sliders and there's the super sliders. They both look the same. They're both priced the same. I have both. I will tell you the super sliders, both the carpet ones and the hardwood floors, are noticeably smoother and easier to push than the X Protector or the X ones. So make sure you actually get the super slider ones. It's a noticeable difference. All right, so once we had that done and I had these pretty much lined up, I had the diffusers in place. I've got the front of the diffusers on the AGS diffusers on my blue line, so it's consistent. I found moving them in a couple of inches on each side made a noticeable difference. I used this. This is my OCD Twin Extreme. This is my Stabila digital level. These speakers, these Tobian speakers, which I love. I'll link to that video down below in the comments as well. Check them out. These Tobian speakers are angled back. They are extremely, extremely sensitive to both toe-in and the angling of the back. In fact, they require virtually no toe-in, just a little bit of toe-in. And when I sat in that seat, I noticed that they were really hard, well, not very harsh, but they were harsh sounding, which is unusual. There was a lot of sibilant. So I knew that that means with these speakers, if they're harsh and sibilant, that means they're aiming too high. If they're dead and lifeless, they're aiming too low. As you sit closer to it, you're gonna angle it up more. As you sit further away, you're gonna angle it down. In my room, to my taste, that sounded the best. So now we're getting really, really good sound. Oh, the other thing that makes a noticeable difference, guys, is left to right. So it was sounding good at that point. What I did then is I brought in the AGS floor diffusers. I love these things. Cleaned up, tightened up, more noticeable, pronounced lower mid-bass and mid-bass. That worked really well because it's affecting the vertical waves, but it also sounded more open and spacious, even with the floor diffusers, which I found surprising. So it's clearly affecting all of the frequencies to the benefit, which is great. So at that point, we were really sounding good. The cables are still run rough. The other thing is I am running, you can see the Ethernet cable. I'm still running that from the wall over there for now. I've got some additional things I'm going to be trying and filters, which will be coming very, very soon. But I wanted to keep the setup gear-wise as consistent as possible. And I also went ahead and changed up on the gear here on the shelf. Let me talk to you about what I have on that and how I move that stuff around. So let me talk to you a little bit now about the gear I have and the speakers and the diffusers, things like that. You will notice over in the corner, I have the Clarisys Piccolos. Very excited to be talking about that. Oh, and I have one other thing, or two other things to show you that made a huge difference in moving this stuff around. The first thing is buy one of these four-wheel dollies. You can get them at Home Depot, Amazon. I got this from Harbor Freight. I think I spent 25 bucks on it. It is a lifesaver as I bring in heavy gear or, for instance, even moving the vac amp around. The thing's like 80, 85 pounds. So this makes life much easier moving the room around along with the sliders. And there's one other thing. Here is the other thing. I am so OCD. This is a cart I got from Costco. It was like 100 bucks or so. I'm so OCD, I actually have two. One for the inside of the house, one for the out. The outside I actually use around the house or to bring speakers and stuff up to the door. I then switch it to this one. This one has never been outside, and the reason being is I don't want to get the wheels and everything so dirty that I'm tracking it in and scratching up the hardwood floors and everything like that. This is a lifesaver when you have gear coming in as much as I do, and also just even generally trying to move the gear around. I left the plastic on the bottom of this, both underneath and on top. Underneath so that it doesn't scratch tile floors or hardwood floors when you put it down. And on top, it just protects the gear and the equipment, but I always put a blanket on top of that because I'm OCD. So now let's go a little bit over the gear I have. These are the AGS floor diffusers. These are the Tobian FH12. And all the comments I'm going to link down below to my other video reviews on this stuff. Love these Tobians. The speaker cables are stealth audio, along with the Ethernet, stealth audio and USB. These are the, I can't remember the model number on these, but these are also the AGS. I've got two bigger ones that I haven't brought into the room yet. I'm thinking I'm going to put one there on that wall, and where that side is so open, I'm probably going to put the other one right behind my listening position. I need to play with that and see what works. We've got the VAC integrated, love this thing, running NOS tubes in the preamp section. The Aqua La Scala tube DAC, also running NOS tubes. We've got off to the side here, these are all on well-float platforms. We've got the Telegartner M12 premium switch, best switch I've ever heard. And then also, you can't really see it here, their optical bridge, which goes in between my K22 or my K41 server, which is Antipodes audio, and the K22 streamer that then go into the DAC and from there into the VAC. And I've got a Puritan power conditioner. So we've got some other great stuff on the way that I will be doing review-wise. Playing with some vibration stuff, got some great vibration control stuff here already that I need to do videos on, so stay tuned on that. And once I get these dialed in position-wise, probably this week, then I'm gonna play more with the vibration control, seeing what works, what doesn't. But right now, it's really about resetting my ears to what's norm, and that way I notice the differences much easier. I find if I do too much at once, I just get overloaded and fatigued, and then I'm just, my brain almost shuts down. So I'm really excited about this change. Still have a ways to go. Makes the room seem bigger, and the only thing I will have to do is move that floor diffuser, because otherwise I'll trip over it getting on and off the couch, but it's a small price to pay for a better setup, better sound. And as I have more speakers coming in, it's easier for me to move these out into the room, because some speakers require that more than what it was before, because I was just my listening position was just too close to the speakers. So that's it in a nutshell. Just wanted to make a quick video on this. Thanks for watching. Please comment down below how your room setup is, if you've tried any changes lately, what works, what doesn't for you. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. I'm the Greek Audio Geek, and I approve of this message. Oppa!